Welcome back. This is episode 488. And before we get into grit, we're going to be talking about grit today. Just going to do a quick review of resilience. We talked about resilience last week, and this all stems around from developing mental strength. So again, with mental strength, we have our 4 C's that we work on. And when we are able to develop mental strength, we have some effects of that. And one of them is resilience, and another one is grit. And we will cover more of those over the next coming episodes. But to review about resilience, it's the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant source of stress, such as family and relationship problems, serious health problems, workplace or financial stressors. And I think we all can agree that whether we believe or not what is happening in this current environment, there is some sort of stressors being applied to us, or we are acknowledging some sort of stressors. And with resilience, we're able to adapt well and continue to move on with that. It means that we're bouncing back from difficult experiences. So resilience means we get hit in the gut, we get up, we keep moving. It's just we keep moving no matter what. And so that is about resilience. And now what we want to do is talk about grit. And so what is grit? Angela Duckworth did a great study on grit and brought it to the military and through positive psychology. But grit is the passion and persistence for long-term goals. Now, it may sound very similar to resilience, but with grit, we are very goal-oriented. We have a passion and a persistence to our goal, where resilience is just we're able to keep moving, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, whether it's something else. So both of these go hand in glove with mental strength. And it's a psychological meaning the grit itself, its psychological meaning has 2 components. One is the adaptive to stick to long-term objectives. So if we have a 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a 1-year goal, which I work with a lot of my clients on developing a 1-year goal, which to many is a long-term one, we're able to stick with it. We're able to stick. We know it's going to take time. We know it's going to take a while. And with grit, we're able to stick with it. And the second part is the ability to keep going in spite of harsh conditions. We're able to adapt. And this is a little bit like resilience. But again, what we're doing here is the difference. One of the differences is grit is goal and passion oriented, where resilience is just life oriented. We have resilience. Something can happen to us. We're driving to work. The car breaks down. We're resilient. We fix it. We move on. We're able to control. With grit, we have a long-term goal, and we're able to stick to it, and we're able to adapt and stay going in spite of harsh conditions. And so, but the question is, how do we develop grit? Well, the first is chase your interest. Pursuing goals that don't captivate you it's just going to give you a hard time, right? If you ever wanted to do something that you really don't want to do, let's say clean up the garage, clean up your closet, something very minor like that, it's just not going to captivate you. So the first step in developing grit is identify what your interests are. And this could be, for me, it's anywhere from martial arts to hiking to CrossFit to any one of those goals. It's what I'm really interested in. For you, it may be music. It could be pottery. It could be something. But find that interest, right? Because with grit, we have to have that passion. So find that interest that you want. Forget about making money at it. Forget about all of that stuff that we've heard before. What we want to do is develop grit. And in order for you to develop that grit, you need to be doing something that you love. It doesn't matter if it's gardening. It doesn't matter if it's, grooming your pets, whatever it is, but you got to find what that is, what that interest is for yourself. And then you have to relate it to a higher purpose. And a compelling interest is not enough in developing grit. People who become grittier are those that connect their interests to a higher purpose. So, for example, myself, I am my interest is physical fitness, whether it's strength training, whether it's CrossFit, whatever part of it, hiking long distances. And my higher purpose is to demonstrate to men 50 and over that you can stay in shape and be in better shape when you're 50 and over than you were when you're 20. So my interest is physical fitness and enhancing that. And my higher purpose is to demonstrate, to be an example for men over 50 that they can stay healthy and actually excel at being strong and healthy. Next, stay around gritty people. The people around you influence your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors greatly, right? There's that old saying, birds of a feather flock together. Well, if you're not developed, if you're with people who give up easy, who don't set goals, who watch a lot of Simpsons on TV, who just don't have goals and they complain about their lot in life, you're not it's going to be really hard for you to develop grit. And this is one of the things that's so important about a coach like myself or some other coaches is maybe you don't hang around us that often, but if you can schedule a year of sessions with us, we will help you develop the grit. I will help you develop that grit. But if you're not going to hire a coach, then you need to find people who are. And at the gym, you can find the people who have the grit, the ones who push through, the ones who aren't talking all the time, the ones who are pushing themselves, that are keeping a record of their workouts. At work, you can find the people who are gritty by the behaviors and the results that they get. So look around and see who you can hang out with. And if you can't hang out with people there, find mentors, virtual mentors through documentaries, through biographies, through TV shows, through movies. Even if they are make-believe, you can still see the aspects of the individual, like Lord of the Rings. There's a grit involved there because there's a long-term goal and they have a passion and a persistence to get to it. So take a look at how you can surround yourself with gritty people. The next is more and more practice, right? So hard work brings competency and practice makes perfect practice. And with the higher chances that you will stick with things that you are good at. What basically, the more you practice, the better you get. The better you get, the more you're going to enjoy the practice. The more you're going to practice, the better you're going to get. And this helps develop grit. You look at many athletes. They're out there. Jerry Rice, right? One of the GOAT of wide receivers. After he would get done with a game or practice, he would lift, and then he would run his hill. And he would keep making practice, doing practice. So it would get better and better and better. You look at people who invest in the stock market. They keep practicing. They'll use paper money, but they'll practice until they get really good. You look at people who are coaching. They'll practice. They'll keep doing it. They'll keep doing something. So whatever your passion is, you want to practice and keep practicing and keep practicing. The term practice is, even if you're doing it for a living, you want to look at it as how else can I develop it? So with myself, every coaching session that I have with somebody, I review it and see how I can improve. So it's not that I'm practicing with them, although what do doctors have and lawyers have? They have a practice, right? So they're always practicing and they're always getting better each time. Coaching is like that. Many service industries are like that. But you have to look at yourself and what are you really passionate about and keep practicing. That means not once a month. That doesn't mean once when you feel like it. You schedule your practice so you'll get better. And then believe in yourself. This again is where coaching comes in so handy for the coach to identify those successful areas in your life so that you will believe in yourself. In anything that you do, the first step of accomplishing it is believing it's possible. And believing it's possible. And this gets back to the mental strength, right? Confidence in your abilities. And this is how it develops grit. But you got to believe in yourself. Maybe we doubt ourselves, but we take that step anyway, believing that maybe it'll work. and with a coach and with people who have grit that are surrounding you will encourage you to take that step. Acknowledge the successes that you've had and keep practicing and keep practicing. Right? So believing in ourselves doesn't mean that we get it right the first time. Believing in ourselves is that I can learn if I continue to practice, and there is no failure, only feedback. And so this is where these are some of the 5 key areas on developing grit. So in conclusion, in summary, grit is the persistence, refusal to quit. You're not going to quit. You are going to keep going. Persistence, persistence, persistence. You keep going. And you keep going because you have a passion for it and you have a higher purpose for what you're doing, and you will keep going. Successful people always stick with their long-term goals and keep following up even during challenges without getting distracted. Often when things get tough, we'll try something else, we come back to it. If you're hitting some sort of a turbulence, if you're hitting a sticking point, you stay with it. It's the only way to develop grit. And today's society, mental strength, grit, and resilience is an endangered species. And I hope you're listening to this podcast or watching this video, getting inspired to develop your mental strength, to develop your resilience, to develop your grit, because the more people we have out there like that, we can demonstrate to others that they can take back control of their lives as well. So the next time, I don't know. Again, I don't know. Surprise. It's going to be around mental strength, obviously, somewhere along there, the 4 C's of it. And we'll take a look at where we go. I'll look at some of the attributes that have developed from mental strength. But for sure, we will talk about something very interesting. To see these show notes or find out more about me, please visit warriormindcoach.com. You can use the pull-down menu, go to the blog to see where these show notes are. And then please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, underneath the name Mind